Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Appreciate you being here today. If you want to follow along, we will be back in First Thessalonians chapter number 3, looking at verse 13. Paul's going to, or we will look at the final thing here. Paul says Paul has told the believers here that he was praying for three things. For them, he told them first of all that he's praying that they would grow. He wants them to increase, he says, to overflow with love for one another. And then next, he tells them that he is praying for their unity, that they would have that love for each other, but also for everyone. And then finally, here in verse 13, he prays that they will have hearts blameless in holiness. And he tells them why. He says, because Jesus is coming back. You need to have our hearts right because Christ is going to return. And Paul, as you've noticed, he just it repeatedly is reminding us that Christ is going to return. I think that as it should, Paul, as it should you and I today, as it should the church today, that should influence, that should impact everything that we do, every decision that we make should be impacted by our belief that Jesus is going to come back. And because of that, we need to be busy. We need to be working. We need to be sharing the faith. We need to be evangelizing, telling people about Christ, leading people to the Lord, because we believe that Christ is going to return. And Paul wants these believers, and he wants you and I to live our life uh, in light of that, in believing that Christ is coming back. What would that look like? He says you'd live in holiness. You would want to be, if you knew Christ was going to return today, you'd want to be found um, living righteously, living holy, doing the right things. And he says that's what Paul says. Again, I think that influences everything Paul does. Why did he endure the suffering he did? Why did he preach the messages he did? Why did he make the journeys he did? Because he believed wholeheartedly Jesus was going to return and he wanted to be ready for that. And so, what a prayer for you and I today is that we would pray that God would help establish our hearts blameless in holiness, so that we'll be ready for the return of Jesus Christ. Uh, there's a story I've heard over the years and shared it myself as well about the story of the mom who was baking the cake, and she got the cake all done, and it was sitting on the counter, but she needed to run out to the store for a moment, and she told her son, she says, "Now I've got to run to the store. Don't you touch this cake." She gets in the car, she leaves, and that cake starts, you know how cakes do, that cake started calling that little boy. And he goes in there, and first thing he's done, he sticks a finger in it, and another thing, and before long, he's just, just been licking the ice, and he's got icing all over him. Now, when his mother pulls back in the driveway, he knows he's caught. He knows he's had. He still loves his mother, but the Bible tells us to love his appearing. He still loves his mother, but he doesn't love her appearing at that moment because she's going to catch him with icing on his face. Paul says, let's live our life blameless in holiness so that we can not only love Jesus, but love his returning, his appearing, that we're ready for him to return. You think about it. Have a good day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.